Charles Spencer Chaplan was born in London, England, on April 16, 1889. His father was a versatile vocalist and actor, and his mother, known under the stage name of Lily Harley, was an attractive actress and singer, who gained a reputation for her work in the light opera field. Charlie was thrown on his own resources before he reached the age of 10, as the early death of his father and the subsequent illness of his mother made it necessary for Charlie and his brother, Sidney, to fend for themselves. Having inherited natural talents from their parents, the youngsters took to the stage as the best opportunity for a career. Charlie made his professional debut as a member of a juvenile group called the 8 Lancashire Lads and rapidly won popular favour as an outstanding tap dancer. When he was about 12, he got his first chance to act in a legitimate stage show, and appeared as Billy the Page Boy in support of First Age, Saintsbury, and then William Gillette in different productions of Sherlock Holmes. At the close of this engagement, Charlie started a career as a comedian in vaudeville, which eventually took him to the United States in 1910 as a featured player with the Fred Karno Company. He scored an immediate hit with American audiences, particularly with his characterization in a sketch entitled A Night in an English Music Hall. When the Fred Karno troupe returned to the United States in the fall of 1912 for a repeat tour, Chaplan was offered a motion picture contract. He finally agreed to appear before the cameras at the expiration of his vaudeville commitments in November 1913, and his entrance in the cinema world took place that month when he joined Max Sennett and the Keystone Film Company. His initial salary was $150 a week, but his overnight success on the screen spurred other producers to start negotiations for his services. At the completion of his Sennett contract, Chaplan moved on to the S&A Company, 1915, at a large increase. Sidney Chaplan had then arrived from England, and took his brother's place with Keystone as their leading comedian. The following year Charlie was even more in demand and signed with the Mutual Film Corporation for a much larger sum to make 12 two-reel comedies. These included The Floorwalker, The Fireman, The Vagabond, 1 A.M., a production in which he was the only character for the entire 2 reels with the exception of the entrance of a cab driver in the opening scene, The Count, The Pawnshop, Behind the Screen, The Rink, Easy Street, heralded as his greatest production up to that time, The Cure, The Immigrant and The Adventurer. When his contract with Mutual expired in 1917, Chaplan decided to become an independent producer in a desire for more freedom and greater leisure in making his movies. To that end, he busied himself with the construction of his own studios. This plant was situated in the heart of the residential section of Hollywood at La Brea Avenue. Early in 1918, Chaplan entered into an agreement with First National Exhibitors Circuit, a new organization specially formed to exploit his pictures. His first film under this new deal was A Dog's Life. After this production, he turned his attention to a national tour on behalf of the war effort, following which he made a film the U.S. government used to popularize the Liberty Loan Drive, The Bond. His next commercial venture was the production of a comedy dealing with the war. Shoulder Arms, released in 1918 at a most opportune time, proved a veritable mirthquake at the box office and added enormously to Chaplan's popularity. He followed Shoulder Arms with Sunnyside and A Day's Pleasure, both released in 1919. In April of that year, Chaplan joined with Mary Pickford, Douglas Fairbanks and D.W. Griffith to found the United Artists Corporation. B.B. Hampton, in his History of the Movies says, the corporation was organized as a distributor, each of the artists retaining entire control of his or her respective producing activities, delivering to United Artists the completed pictures for distribution on the same general plan they would have followed with a distributing organization which they did not own. The stock of United Artists was divided equally among the founders. This arrangement introduced a new method into the industry. Heretofore, producers and distributors had been the employers, paying salaries and sometimes a share of the profits to the stars. Under the United Artists system, the stars became their own employers. They had to do their own financing, but they received the producer profits that had formerly gone to their employers, and each received a share of the profits of the distributing organization. Chaplan's versatility extended to writing, music and sports. He was the author of at least 4 books: My Trip Abroad, A Comedian Sees the World, My Autobiography, My Life in Pictures, as well as all of his scripts. An accomplished musician, though self-taught, he played a variety of instruments with equal skill and facility, playing violin and cello left-handed. He was also a composer, having written and published many songs, among them, Sing a Song, With You Dear, in Bombay, and There's Always One You Can't Forget, Smile, Eternally, You Are My Song, as well as the soundtracks for all his films. Charles Chaplan was one of the rare comedians who not only financed and produced all his films, with the exception of The Countess from Hong Kong, but was the author, actor, director and soundtrack composer of them as well. He died on Christmas Day 1977, survived by 8 children from his last marriage with Una O'Neill and 1 son from his short marriage to Lita Gray.